Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Welcome back to the National Results Operations Center. May I humbly request that as we proceed with the press briefing for this evening, let's try and keep the noise levels down, because when we ask questions, it becomes a difficulty for the panel to hear. But basically, we can almost, CEO, count down the 2021 municipal elections. Without much waste of time, I've got the full leadership of the Electoral Commission with me this evening. I'm going to allow my boss, Simon Mabolo, Chief Electoral Officer of the IEC, to give us an update.
Thanks, Kate, and good evening. We're not going to be long. We don't want to keep the country waiting for long. So it's going to be very quick. The Commission reports that as at 1930, 55% of the 64,502 results had been captured and finalized. The Northern Cape has completed 89% of all results, followed by the Western Cape at 72%. In the third position comes the Eastern Cape at 70%. The rest of the provinces' completion rate ranges between 37% and 67%. At the level of capturing, 78% of results are already in the system, waiting for scanning and auditing. We are still pursuing the target of reaching the 90% in the course of tonight. The number of completed municipalities now stands at 94, and will spare no effort to ensure that the majority of the 163 municipalities are completed within the planned time frame. Thank you very much.
Thank you, CEO. I think the statement is loud and clear that much progress has been done. We dealt with quite a lot of questions during the day when we were dealing with the press briefing. I'm allowing the leadership of the Electoral Commission to proceed and complete their work. They've got a deadline to meet, and CEO is very clear. We want to proceed and complete. I'm just going to open one round of questions, and then we'll be on our way to wrap up these elections. I've got hands starting from the left of the room, and then we go in that way.
Yes, thank you. Busi Chimambe from the SABC. I just need some clarity about those votes, those voters that did not appear on the ballot papers. Exactly what is the status in terms of people who may have been disenfranchised?
Christian Duplessis from Netwerk 24. The question I want to ask is, in Tshwane, only around 20% of the ballot votes have been counted. Why is they so far behind compared to Johannesburg, which is at 34%, and the rest of Gauteng being even further along? Thank you.
Natasha Perry here from SABC News. Well, earlier on, we heard that announcement by ISCOM saying that they'll be implementing load shedding. Is the IEC not worried that it'll be affected in any way in terms of the counting of votes? And if so, contingency measures that you've put in place perhaps at those voting stations? Thank you.
Hi, this is Promit Mukherjee from Reuters. I know that you have already said that you will not be able to give a voter turnout number so soon, but by the time we reach 90%, as you are expecting to reach tonight, do we think we'll have a fair idea of what has been the voter turnout vis-a-vis 2016?
Can you just confirm your question for me again? I just want to get to the end part of it. You were saying, just confirm it for me.
I'm saying that by tonight, by the time you reach 90%, will you be able to give us an indication as to what has been the voter turnout as compared with 2016?
Thank you so much.
Franz Luagamachata from Progressive Independent News Agency. Just this afternoon, almost about this evening, I received reports from Bushbuck Ridge at the Tula Mahash, I think it's the regional center, where there was a quantum actually found with lots of boxes. I think if you are able to see, I also shared the pictures with the communications team, the IEC communication team. It was found with a lot of ballot papers open, and allegedly there were people busy marking the ballot papers from this. If you can check, there are also some black refuse bags with ballot papers. So what does this mean to the IEC and to the affected wards? Because allegedly they are from Ward 16 in Bushbuck Ridge.
Looks like all the hands have been covered. May I allow the IEC panel to respond? Thank you very much, CEO. You lead the discussion.
Okay, thank you very much. Starting with the question about Tshwane. It depends on the number of people who participated and therefore how long it takes to count the ballots. It also depends on the human factor as well as the infrastructure. You'll recall that Tshwane has, to the north of the city, a lot of peri-urban places where the infrastructure is not as so good. So it takes time in those circumstances to conclude the actual counting process. Now, load shedding. Load shedding is always a concern to the extent that it has impact on our ability to do things fast. So we have been in discussions with the officials of ESCOM, and in those discussions what we sought to achieve was an insulation of certain sites where our operations are continuing. The issue about voter turnout when we reach 90%, projections can be done on the basis of what the status would be at that point. The Commission will, however, when it declares the results, give you official voter turnout in these elections. The Bushbuck Ridge matter, we're not aware, but it's a matter that we'll go look at and get reports so that those can be considered by the Commission. And the issue around voters who are not on the voters' roll, I'll ask Ndate Moepa to deal with this because it's a matter that we had dealt with extensively in the morning.
I thought you wouldn't leave that for me, CEO.
May we please have sound for Commissioner Moepa?
Hello. I thought I wouldn't have to sing for dinner. I think it's important to say in every election that we have conducted as this institution, when voting closes and counting begins, there's a lot of apprehension, understandably. We are very careful to be defensive, but we work hard to bring certainty to the nation and to the world as soon as possible. The numbers that are behind us here are in fact those numbers that are beyond doubt. By the time they get there, they've been audited, they've been checked, they've gone through a whole set of integrity tests and they pass and they're here. That means, to the extent that we have them there, the persons that are alleged to have been voting or not voting, we've dealt with them in the results. And those results you can see. So we can only account for voters that have presented themselves at voting station and voted. Where we don't have them, we won't. And so I accept that there have been the allegations that the people who were not on the voters' roll, who we have explained, those that we knew and we had records of, we actually had included on there. And we indicated that out of the approximately 240,000, 140,000 of those, actually we can account for them by name as having come and having voted. That's what we have been able to say. We now accept that where someone has evidence on the numbers presented, there are processes that we will follow and will deal with those numbers. But we are not going to account for persons who have not come. We will account for those ones that have come and those ones that we provided for on the voters' roll. I think I'm just dealing with this thing so that there is no doubt that we're trying to process voters who are elsewhere, not on the voters' roll. We don't have them. And we are bearing ourselves with the numbers that we have behind us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Let's call it a night. We'll advise on the next presser. It's been a long day. Counting continues. Leadership of the IEC, you are released from the press briefing. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.